Hello, this is Jamie Magrich. Welcome to Jamie's Craft Table. Today I'd like to show you how I made this card. Got a little bit of shimmer in it, not a lot. It has a little bit of dimension there. Okay, so let's get started. Bring in my box of supplies and we'll see what we're going to need. To start with, we're using 2 stamp sets. I'm using Bloom and Grow. I'm using this one here, and I'm using the hello out of there, and I'm using this tree from Winter Woods. Okay, for paper, I have a piece of Rococo Rose, which is 5.5 by 8.5, scored and folded at 4 1/4. I have a piece of Whisper White, which is 3 by 5 1/4, and another piece which is 2 by 5 1/4. Okay, in my box I have dimensionals and glue dots, some linen thread. It's actually from the burlap trim. I took the pieces out. Let's get these out. Memento ink, smoky slate, a few Stampin' Blends. I have Light Old Olive, I have Rococo Rose, Light and Dark, I have Daffodil Delight, Balmy Blue, and Purple Posy. And then I have a Wink Stella. So I'm going to put this aside so it's here ready for me, and let's get started. I'm also going to bring in my Stampin' Mat. Some of those are photopolymer, and I just, even with the rubber stamps, get a better impression when I'm using this. Okay, scratch paper. First thing I'm going to do is bring in this piece. Well, let's stamp the flowers first so we can set it aside to dry a little bit so that we don't have an issue with ink smearing. That's a good size stamp. I'm going to ink that out with the Memento ink. Make sure it's good and inked. And I'm going to stamp that right in the center. Right like that. I have ink on the block, so I want to make sure I don't get that on my paper. Well, since it's stuck, let's give it a good back rub. There we go. It's perfect. Okay, now I'm going to grab that hello. I'm going to stamp one down here. Stamp one over here. I'm going to stamp one over here. Okay, let's set that aside. Close up the Memento Black. Bring in that 3 by 5 1/4 inch piece and this stamp and the smoky slate. I'm actually going to turn it this way. Well, actually, I'll turn my whole thing. It's easier. And I'm going to just stamp this consecutively. Oh, lovely. Well, so much for that. Stamp this all the way across here. Okay, we're done with our stamping. Since I got ink on this. So we can turn it over, but let's, we'll just turn it over. What I was going to say, a way to solve it is I could just cut this off and then flip it over and mount it onto another piece. But I'm just going to flip it over for today. Done with this. Alright, let's bring in this piece and do our coloring. Alright, I'm going to color the centers of those with this dark Daffodil Delight. I'm just scribbling in the center. I'm not being neat in any way. Scribbling in the center. And I'm going to take my dark Rococo Rose and I'm going to just do a little squiggly from the outside of that, and anywhere the petals are going to overlap, I'm going to put just a little bit of the dark. I do recommend you only do a couple at a time because you want them to blend, and they blend better when they're a little bit wet. And come back in with the light. We're just going to scribble over the rest of that flower, right over what you've already scribbled in. Okay, let's grab those other two flowers fast. Okay. And if you need to come back and add a little bit more of the lighter color to blend in that a little bit more, go all ahead. If you want to add a little bit more darker color in the shadow areas, it's all about layers with these pens. I'm going to do a lot of light layers. If you do too much at once, it'll bleed outside the line because it'll saturate the paper with the alcohol. Okay, now we're going to come in with the light old olive, and I'm going to color in all those leaves. I'm not doing any shading on these. This marker's seen better days. I'll get a new one ordered, but it's starting to run out and the tip is getting a little frayed. Alright, then I'm going to come in with the dark balmy blue and color in these little berries. Okay, now for my shadow, I went first with a dark purple posy, and it was a little too purple, a little too pink. And I just did it on the underneath side. Okay, then I came back through with the dark balmy blue, and I went right over the top, and it made a different color, like a shadowy color. A little bit of the other color shows through. Okay, now one thing I didn't have in my box is my snips. Now we're going to do a little fussy cut. I'm going to cut straight up to this hello. I'm going to fussy cut around the top of it. Over around then I'm going to fussy cut out all the way around the top and through the top of this hello. So I'm just going to real quick. You get a better result if you turn your paper, not your scissors, and you don't open and close the scissors too much. You just kind of hold them slowly. Not the best at this, but and I'm leaving a nice halo around everything. Almost done here. Don't need to go way down into those crevices or anything. We're just doing a quick halo around everything. Snip that part right off. I'm getting there. Sorry it's taking so long. Around the hello. One more little cut here. There we go. Okay, so we have a piece that looks like that. Okay, now we're going to, you know what, this is gonna bug me, so I'm gonna cut this off and we'll do this card just a slight bit different. Show you how to correct a mistake. And I took my guard off of this because I wanted to trim some skinnier pieces. It was easier to get down to it. I'm gonna go ahead and use this piece. And then I'll bring in, well, I might as well just use a white card base then. This is thick. Score it at 4 1/4. Tuck it in the corner. Crease it. Alright. So this piece is going to get mounted to the front of our card. Actually, this will make it easier to do the ribbon part, so let's not mount it yet. Let's do this part first. Mount this to the front of our card. And you want the thicker part down. It just, I don't know why it appears like that's the way it's supposed to be, and this has got to be upside down. Man, 1,000 today, let me tell you. My silicone mat. Okay. It's going to be one of them days. Alright. And it's about 1/4 of an inch from the top. Okay, we're going to bring in dimensionals for the piece we colored and cut out. Just going to use up these edges. Okay. That's a nice long piece for the bottom here. You probably don't need as many dimensionals as I put on, but I like it to be secure. Okay, take those backs off. Alright, this is going to go right down here on the bottom of this. Okay, now I can add this to the front of this white card base. Originally I wasn't going to do the white card base, it was just going to be on the front of the card, which I normally don't do. It's going to be the same size as the front of the card. Excuse me. Well, should be. Let's bring in our little trimmer. It's a little bit crooked. Get a new large trimmer. It's not a Stampin' Up one. It's like a guillotine one. And I don't like it as well as my old one. It doesn't cut straight. There's the tiniest little bit of a curve in it. It drives me nuts. Okay, now let's bring in the Wink of Stella. And add some Wink of Stella to the center of these flowers. And to these little berries. It's just a little bit of a shimmer to them. Okay, for the I stuck it on there anyway. Oh well, we'll do it the way I was. Alright, so I took 2 pieces of this jute twine. Wrap it around. Tie a bow. Well, every time it goes loose like that on me. Let's try it again. Let's tie it in a knot first, maybe, and then tie a bow. Okay. Spread these out. Turn it how you want it. And the glue dots were to help hold this in place. But since I tied the knot, I'm not sure I need it. Okay, well there you go. There's the card we just made together. Here's the one I did previously. This one, of course, is... This one's on the card front onto a white. There you go. Thank you for joining me at Jamie's Craft Table. I hope you have a great rest of your day. I hope you can find a little bit of time to play with some stamps, ink, and paper.